It's time to unbox a new Nintendo 2D. What the hell is it? New Nintendo 2DS XL. Nintendo sucks with names, almost worse than Microsoft. Let's do a retro but new unboxing. I guess this is retro. Would you consider a 2DS retro now? I don't know. Skip it a bob. Skip it a bob and that up. So here's something I completely forgot I had in my closet. A new in-box Nintendo 2DS XL. Where did I get this from? Well, back in summer of 2020 on Walmart, they were having a fire sale of these, which included a installed copy of Mario Kart 7. This was $99.99 US dollars, not even 1 cent away from $100. And I was like, you know what? What the hell? I was like, that's so cheap. I don't care about the 3D. There's a ton of great Nintendo DS games. I'm gonna pick these up. So I picked up one, and because they were so cheap, I picked up another one and forgot I had it. Well, I kind of forgot I had both. Here's the other one that I had too as well, but that's a different story. And I was like, damn. Now that this is like completely, it's been discontinued for a very long time, and now that the 2DS store, or 3DS store is shut down, the eShop, I should say. Let's go on a blast to the past, is that right? Or a blast out of my ass, and let's unbox the last dedicated handheld. What do I mean by that? They ain't making games, well, that's a bad example, but they ain't making games that are just for a portable platform only. Like the Switch, yes, there's the Switch Lite, but the Switch itself is a hybrid console that you could also play on your television. These games were just meant, just like the Game Boy, just to work on a handheld, that's it. So this is kind of the end of an era. So I thought it would be interesting to unbox it and see what one of these new in-box came with. So this is the 2DS XL. Like I said, it came with a copy of Mario Kart. And trying to hold back a burp. Let's open it up and see what it came with and take a look at a bygone era in gaming. Now, you may be thinking, Rich, Steam Deck, that's a portable. But again, this is a portable PC. These are the same games you'd be playing on your huge desktop gaming PC. It's not that specific games are being made for the Steam Deck. It's different. So, bathroom break, everybody. Nature is calling. Thank God these are the GH5s because I could just leave them going. So the new Nintendo 2DS XL is essentially the new 3DS, where it has the faster processor. It actually has 2 more cores. And there was actually games that were specifically made to work with the new Nintendo 3DS and new Nintendo 2DS because the processor was more capable. There wasn't that many games because obviously way more people had the original 3DS, which was less capable than the new 3DS and new 2DS XL. But needless to say, it did get a spec bump when they went up to the new line of 2DS and 3DS products. Actually, there's something real quick I wanted to correct. Beyond there being a handful of games that either took advantage of the more powerful new Nintendo 3DS / 2DS XL hardware, Super Nintendo games only worked with the new Nintendo 3DS line of products because to emulate these Super Nintendo games, you needed the extra processor grunt that the new Nintendo 2DS XL and new Nintendo 3DS line had. You could not play Super Nintendo games on an original Nintendo 3DS. It couldn't handle them. So there you go. There's another advantage of having a new Nintendo 2DS XL or new Nintendo 3DS. Anyway, so we'll put that aside for now and see what else it came with. This is how you charge it. If I need to explain that to you, then you probably shouldn't be touching electronics. Augmented reality cards, remember that was a thing with the 3DS because it has the does it even have, oh yeah, it has the, does it have the camera? Yeah, it has the cameras right there. So you could do augmented reality. Now, it used to be 3D on the other model of D3DS because that actually had the 3D screen. This, of course, does not. So, oh no. I don't know. I never, like, it was cool for like 5 minutes using the 3D feature on the 3DS, and then you got over it. But, so we got that. We got, now what's funny is you may think, oh, Rich, it's a power adapter, who cares? The original new Nintendo 3DS and 3 did not come with this. They were just like, if you're buying a new Nintendo 3DS, you're obviously gonna have a power adapter laying around, right? Right? Nintendo was actually doing that before Apple. Good for you, Nintendo. You taught Tim Cook how to rob people. All right, so let's take a look around the, does this have, yes, this has, they always have this floppy hinge. This one, mine that I actually have used, has the same hinge. You could actually put the screen all the way back. It keeps it nice, well, kind of nice and stiff. What about this one? I'm glad I have another one to compare it to. Go back. No, they're both a little floppy, but it's better all the way back than like this because it jiggles more. So let's take a look. You have, in my opinion, well, no, the Pro controller for the Switch has a good D-pad, but this is one of the last solid D-pads that Nintendo made, in my opinion. You go over to like the Switch Lite, that D-pad, in my opinion, sucks. And Nintendo is the king of D-pads, so I'm kind of even going back to my Game Boy here. Actually, this is a better D-pad than on the 2DS, so they've lost their way a little bit with the 2DS as well. But here's something. See this little nub right here? For those of you who haven't used the 3DS or 2DS, the original 3DS did not come with a second analog stick. That's what this is. This is an analog nub that it's like, you know, pinching a nipple. The original 3DS, people were complaining it didn't have a second analog stick, which even in 2011, seriously, Nintendo? Like the Vita had 2 analog sticks. So Nintendo put this monstrous contraption on the original 3DS that added a second analog stick. It needed its own battery. It was kind of a mess, and then Nintendo realized they made a mistake, and then they remedied it with this nub. It's fine. It's not the same as another analog stick, but it's more than playable to play games with. You have your face buttons here. They feel fine, perfect amount of click and travel. Start and select, and for the front of it, that's it. On the side here, you have your volume slider, which you'll just be leaving that at max because every 2DS or 2DS XL that I've tried, the sound on it sucks. So prepare to use the headphone jack that's right here and get a pair of headphones. Because you're gonna need them. Right next to it, you have a very short stylus, but it's not the size that counts, it's how you use it. Oh, that's a corny joke. Ha! Anyway, moving on, you have your activity lights here. One shows power, one shows Wi-Fi. Whatever, it shows something. Whatever, there's lights, there's, I don't know. Doesn't really matter. There's, one is power, one is Wi-Fi, or one is charging, one is Wi-Fi, one is power. There you go. I figured out the riddle. All right, so you got your 2 absolutely horrible cameras back here. Don't expect to take any meaningful pictures with them. It will just be a blurry mess, even if your subject is standing perfectly still. Keep in mind, this is cheap camera tech from 2011 that they are using in here. So iPhone, it is not. On top here, you have your L and R triggers. You also have your Z, L, and ZR buttons. You have an infrared sensor right here, and here you have the proprietary power port, which again, the original new Nintendo 3DS did not come with a power adapter. That is still unbelievable to me. So there you go. There's the system over here. You have the let me talk about the analog stick more. This is not a click. It's like an analog slider, not clickable. Neither was the Vita, so in Nintendo's defense, that was kind of something of the era. I don't mind the slider, it's fine. Does good with 3D games if you're playing Super Mario 3D Land, which I'll be playing in a second. So, screens, let's talk about those. The top screen is an ultra res 400 by 240 pixels. I'm being sarcastic. And the bottom screen is 320 by 240 pixels. It's more of a 4 by 3, close to that aspect ratio. This is a touchscreen. It is not a capacitive touchscreen, it is resistive. So multi-touch and sometimes typing things in is not going to be accurate, hence why Nintendo with the DS line of consoles, whether the regular DS or 3DS line, gave you a stylus, because that's the best way to be precise with a resistive touchscreen. Dated tech, it's old. Also too, other groundbreaking things, you have your home button here, shocker, start and select, and did I miss anything? Oh yes, I almost did. Let's go over one more thing that annoys me about the new Nintendo 2DS XL is this door. This is where you put your micro SD card, which this comes with a 4 GB micro SD card. Let's see. Nintendo sucks with micro SD card slots, and they usually stick. Whether it's on a DS product or the Switch, they have very sticky micro SD. Yeah, it's 4 GB, which honestly, for the size of the games on here, is not really awful. I hate their SD card slots. All right, you have your game cartridge port right next to here, which we are going to use in a minute. And that's it. That is the 2DS. All right, let's power this on. I'll put in my credentials, and I might be naked when I get back. All right, let's just check out the eShop, or the shell of the eShop, which is now closed down. You can no longer purchase games. All you could do with the eShop is download software you already purchased if you sign into your Nintendo account. But I'll show you that it is no more. I mean, you could log in. There's going to be the icon on your 3DS or 2DS, but go try to get a game. We'll go up to Nintendo Selects. And that's it. Software is currently unavailable. You know, it's sad going through this because, I mean, these are bigger Nintendo games, so you will be able to get them at other places mostly. But there are a lot of other games on stores like the eShop, same with the Wii, that you can't play, at least in a legitimate way, and they're not being preserved. I always think of Castlevania The Adventure Rebirth. I know there are ways that you can emulate that or jailbreak systems to make that work, but there's no official way that's supported. I don't see Konami coming in to preserve that game anytime soon, and Castlevania The Adventure Rebirth was an absolute classic. I highly recommend it. So, okay, Nintendo, yeah, the 3DS line is over a decade old. I understand why you wanted to shut down the store, but how can people maintain these games? How can people play these games that may just go missing because this store is closed down? They just go off into the abyss, those games. The hard work and time that developers put into those games is just gone, like a friggin' fart in the wind. That's the thing that bothers me about all of the big three. Microsoft has made the biggest strides to preserve old games with backwards compatibility, but even them, at this point, they're not really worrying about it. So where do these games go? It just sucks because there's great games out there that people may never play because they weren't preserved. All right, let's play some Mario Kart 7, which is installed on the SD card. It was a pack-in game with the new 2DS XL. But one thing I wanted to note with the other footage I filmed that I have to scrap and use here instead is that even though, yes, this is lowered a little bit. Yeah, okay, this is dated and this is a design language that Nintendo moved on from, but it's definitely still clean and has character. When you go over to the Switch, it's very barren, it's very dry. I mean, look at the animations up on top. You go to Mii Maker, you see the animations there. You go even like if you have the cartridge for Super Mario 3D Land, look at the top up there. Look at everything that's going on. It was just a nice touch and just kind of was unique and gave Nintendo a different flavor. I'm glad they moved on from like the Wii crap they were doing, and even the Miis. I feel like they had their place and it was time to move on from them. But stuff like this, I don't know, Nintendo, bring some of that back. Bring some of that flair back. But anyway, moving on to Mario Kart 7. And as you see, it looks fantastic, runs at a solid 60 FPS. And also, too, the screen can get much brighter than I have it here. I just have it lowered so it just doesn't look blown out and overexposed on my iPhone's camera, but I mean, even for how low resolution the screen is, it looks good, man. I mean, for just playing DS and 3DS games, it's more than enough. Solid controls. I don't know why I just braked right there, but that's fine. I'm gonna throw banana peels and like the boss that I am. Yeah, I still suck at Mario Kart, but needless to say, great game. Another one you should pick up if you pick up a 3DS product. Oh god, I'm about to get dominated. I am about to get... This is one thing that pisses me off about Mario Kart games. Unavoidable attacks. Alright, here we go. Alright, great installment of Mario Kart. If you get a 3DS, pick it up. Moving on. Alright, this is Super Mario 3D Land for the Nintendo 3DS, or 2DS for that matter. And this is a fantastic game. I'm playing this on the freshly unboxed new 2DS XL. I had this footage recorded before, but it was unusable because all you saw was reflection from the top camera that I was using. So here I am again. Recording it again. Look at my head. It literally does look like an egg with glasses on. And as you see, the screen is very reflective, which is a shortcoming of the 2DS XL. So if you're in like bright light, you may have an issue. Or if you have a bald ass white head like mine, it'll show up vividly on the screen. So keep that in mind. But yeah, this is a fantastic platformer. What am I hitting wrong here? You can't swing? Really? You can't? I thought you could... Oh, I'm thinking of Mario 64. Ah, there we go. Good to get the Tanuki suit. But yeah, how could you go wrong with a 3D Mario platformer? And looks great, runs great. It's only 30 FPS, but hey. Fun fact, I bought this for my brother when it first came out, when he had the OG 3DS, and he beat this in like one sitting. He beat the game in a day, let me not exaggerate. And I was like, I just got that game for you, already beat it? He's like, yeah. Yeah, well, money well spent, huh? It's fairly easy. It's fairly forgiving, but still an excellent platformer that if you do end up picking up a 3DS product, I highly recommend it. This is still a fun little system, man. And it's kind of sad in a way to go back to this, because like I said earlier on when I first started recording this video, is that this is the last of its kind. Where did I put my Game Boy? We're never gonna have a system again where a portable system, I mean to say, where games are specifically made from the ground up for it. Okay, we obviously have portable systems, and the portable market in a way is flourishing in more than ever. I love it too, because I'm getting AAA games on the go, and they're the same games that you would play on your PC or your PlayStation 5 or your Xbox Series S or X in the palm of your hand. But those are desktop games that we now have mobile hardware that's capable of playing them. This, when you had a DS or you had a Game Boy or you had a 3DS or 2DS, I'm just throwing out names there, the games were just designed for those consoles. Now, some may argue, Rich, the Switch Lite is solely a portable system. However, the Switch, the main Switch, and the Switch OLED are meant to be hybrid systems, and those are games that are also meant to be played at home. This is just portable. You weren't meant to play 3DS games anywhere else, unless you were playing them in a way Nintendo didn't want you to. It's that simple. So, you know what? If you could get your hands on one of these for a reasonable price, the library on this is enormous. Yeah, okay, it doesn't play Game Boy Advance games. Did you really expect the 3DS line and 2DS line to play those still? But this is backwards compatible with the DS, and minus the pain in the ass little flap where the cartridge slot is, the library of games is extraordinary. I'm actually going to pick up the Castlevania games for the DS. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do it right after I film this video because they're fantastic, and there's just... It just doesn't stop, especially because the DS, and this plays DS games, was a wildly successful system. The 3DS was successful, but the DS was an unstoppable force. You could play all the DS games on here, and there are so many genres and so many different games out there. Just go on eBay and have a ball. So it's weird, man. Not that this was the first portable system, but this was Nintendo's first cartridge-based portable system, and it started with this. The portable gaming industry really started with this, I should say. And it, in a way, ended with this. And now it's evolving into something like this, which I'm actually all for. Still depressing, though. Kind of feel like a part of my childhood is being left behind because we're not going to see systems like this. So, anyway, this is Rich of ReviewTechUSA signing out. Have a good one. Make sure to click like on this video and subscribe to the channel because we got some surprises coming up. Have a good day.